Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Rockwood number 594SO 626. This is a strike plate, is what it is, for one of their 590 series roller latches, and this is the strike only. Okay, this would be called a T-strike if you use your imagination. You can see why we would call it that. This is a 2 3/4 tall strike. Okay. You can see that the overall width of the strike is about 1 7/8 inches. However, strikes are measured from the center line of the screw hole to the edge of the lip. And this is going to be about 1 5/16 inches. It really ought to measure about 1 1/4 inches, but it looks like it's just a little heavy on that. Yeah, it's 1 3/8 inches. Is what it is. You can kind of a bit more accurately measure it. Okay, about 1 3/8 inches, depending on where I'm holding that tape measure to, right? This is the strike only. It's going to include a couple of 832 wood metal combination style screws with an undercut head. You can see the feature of that undercut head. Undercut head is used to get a flathead screw mounted into a relatively thin amount of material. If it was just a traditional flathead, you wouldn't be able to get it quite flush with the hardware. Now, let's switch to the camera view where we can take a look at the extended description, the tech sheet, and the product catalog as well on this. So this is the item that we're looking at online here, and our extended description tells us that it's 1 1/8 inches by 2 3/4. I'm not sure what the 1 1/8 part is. Yeah, that's just the 1 1/8 is only this dimension here, just this part of the strike, which, you know, realistically is certainly important to know. But you want to know the center line of the screw hole to the edge of the lip. That's what's crucial in determining if a strike's going to work or it's not. Satin chrome plated brass. A lot of people get, I don't want brass, I want satin chrome. Yes, no. The 626 in the part number tells us that it's made of solid brass and that it is satin chrome plated. Okay, cast brass, in fact. This is used with the 594 roller latches. Let's look at the product brochure and take a look. 594. Ah, there it is. It's probably used with the 592 as well, but I don't know that as a fact. I don't know if the strike for the 592 is the same as the 594. It would likely work, but I don't know if it's the same. The 594 strike roller latch is a typical design because of its latch face. It's 2 1/4 tall by 1 1/8 wide, and that would be the edge prep you'd have on a 161 lock prep. So a standard preparation will take this roller latch. Okay. Obviously going to be available in all the same finishes as the roller latches. And speaking of the other roller latches, they can all be reviewed here. 590, 591, 92, 593, 594. Let's take a look at the tech sheet. That's just going to be the drawing of the mortise requirements for the 594 roller latch, with our strike being detailed here. The important thing that they're calling out here is the center line of the roller latch and the strike need to be on the same center line, not only laterally in terms of the depth where it's going to be installed in the door and frame, but also, of course, vertically as well. You want to make sure that the center line of the roller latch is the center line of the strike, of course, accounting for your margin at the top of the door, meaning if you were going to install that roller latch at, say, 43 and 9/16 from the top of the door to the center line, well, you're going to measure 43 and 11/16 if you take your dimension off the underside of the head. Okay. Now how you're going to install this is going to be something that you'll have to determine. Let's just say that this is a single rabbet frame. And you're going to have your strike prep here. That's going to come all the way out. That strike is going to, you know, obviously it would be flush. Let's do that differently. Okay. Your door is going to sit in here. In your center line. Okay. So if this is centered in the center line of the door, you know where you're going to make that. You're going to make that to the center line of the prep, but you still have to position that somewhere. So a simple formula would be door thickness divided by 2 plus this dimension, which is a measurable dimension. When the door is at 0 degree, you know, that dimension from here to here is where you're going to center that strike. So door thickness divided by 2 plus this dimension is where you're going to place the strike to the center line of the recessed area. Okay, you want to just make sure it's going to line up real well. And understanding that the lip is about 1 5/16 inches or so, whatever we determined, you might have a need for an extended lip, even though that's unusual. You might have you might need an extended lip because you might have a scenario where your typical inset of your typical door, this dimension from the face of the frame to the door, you know, that's usually about 3/32 of an inch. Well, what if it was a 1/2 inch? Okay. What if your door was here? Could be. This could be 1 3/4 inch thick door, but it's inset. You're going to need an extended lip strike. That can be accommodated, is the point of all of that. So be mindful that we can assist with that sort of scenario. Now, since we have the screen view going, this is the item, again, we're looking at. Here's the link to the manufacturer's page right there where you can review. So here's the manufacturer's page, and you can review not only all of the Hager products that we sell, like I was saying earlier, but a link to the manufacturer's website, which is here. And then a link to the full product catalog, as well as the Rockwood RM series catalog, which is their architectural door pull catalog. A lot of tremendous quantity of specialty handmade pulls. These happen to be leather wrapped pulls. And they can do lots of different leather wrapping colors, rubber wrapped pulls, wood, pulls that will include architectural base materials like stainless, brass, or bronze, and then wood, and probably 12 different species. I believe this is hickory, the one they show as standard, but they can do many other species. Okay, really beautiful material. So if you are ever in the market, so to speak, to purchase, detail, estimate, procure custom poles, Rockwood would be a tremendous asset for you. Okay. Now let's switch to the camera view and wrap up this video. Now the name Rockwood is quite synonymous with very, very good quality trim and auxiliary hardware. This strike is not really a sterling example of their capabilities, but many notable things about Rockwood. The first one that comes to mind is their eagerness to quote custom variations. I had the opportunity to... This is the faceplate from an electric deadbolt by SDC. It has a ball, auto relock ball here. The bolt is here. It has the mounting holes for the unit to the frame, and then it has the 4 holes to mount the body, the solenoid and all the electrical workings of the lock to the plate. Well, this client, and this plate maybe measures 8 or 8.5, 8 by inch and a half. This client needed to fit a lock into a preparation from a Rixson, a sister company of Rockwood, a Rixson 401DR that's been discontinued for I don't know how long. Well, I sent Rockwood a sketch of what I needed. And the difference between the SDC and the 401DR was that this is 9-inch tall and it's 1.75 wide or whatever it was. 9-inch by 1.75. Yeah, that's what it was. And I sent Rockwood a sketch, and I said, I basically I measured and transferred all the mounting points, all the holes, onto the larger plate. Defined my countersinking requirements and everything. And I'll tell you, I mean, these people are phenomenal. They are just really, really, really great. You know, Rockwood could not tap the hole for the ball switch because the original is tapped, and it's a bastard size. It's a 3/4 diameter, 27 threads per inch. Yeah, that's a tap size. So I bought a tap and my tap bench there, and was able to tap that hole. Okay, fine. Rockwood couldn't tap it. That I understand. I asked them if they could, but they could countersink everything the size I needed. And it's just this is an example of. It wasn't even a speed bump to Rockwood. Wasn't even. I sent them. There was not even questions asked. I sent them my sketch, all my details. 3 weeks later, I've got my plate done. You know, there's one thing to be capable, and then there's another thing to have the people in place that have that eager attitude to just solve problems. They keep it really simple, and they make the very difficult look very simple. Many other things about Rockwood, that's just, that example is from yesterday, and it just goes on and on. I always have them make, they are my source for custom plates because I do more than weird things like that, in the sense of needing to, you know, have plates made where we're removing old locks, putting on access control, wanting to elegantly cover all the holes, but then accommodate in the plates that are dress plates, but also having function holes for the new hardware. That's Rockwood all day long. Okay, anyway, let's wrap it up. Any questions on the 594 SO strike and a 626 finish or any other Rockwood product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.